Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I've made myself a lovely cappuccino. It's Tuesday, it's day 9. I'm excited. Let's jump into today's daily question. So Amanda Jordao asks, "Hi Robin, could you talk about how to make a good learning routine?" Okay, so this is an excellent question, and it's one that has a lot of pieces that I could talk about at length, and this is going to be kind of a very high-level overview of the process for establishing a great learning routine. And throughout the video, I'm going to be sharing links to other things I've made that will help you. I'll give you links to downloadable resources, and if anybody has questions on any one component of this video, please ask in the comments, and I'll be happy to make another video diving into more depth. Jumping in, let's talk about 2 major phases of creating an excellent learning routine. I'm going to call these phases when and what. Phase 1, when. This essentially is figuring out when you're going to be actually learning, right? What does your schedule look like on the whole? Let's figure out on a weekly basis, more or less, what does your schedule look like and when can you make time for learning? Now, in my opinion, you're going to want to build in 2 types of time: dead time and dedicated study times. These are kind of the terms that I use to refer to dead time, which is basically things like when you're ironing, washing the dishes, even taking a walk. Time where your body is kind of engaged in something, but your mind is kind of free. And these are typically things that you would have to do during your day anyway, but you can use that time to get loads of learning done. So actually a huge amount of study time for me comes from just learning how to use my dead time. I often say that if you want to successfully learn languages, one of the great things you can do is become a master of your dead time. Now, I actually created in the past a really simple to use dead time planner, and I'm going to give you a link in the description of this video where you can go and download it. In the future, when my new website launches, it's going to be a lot easier to share downloadable resources with you. For now, it's a Google Drive and you can just request access and I will grant it to you. But what that will do is it's just a really simple 1 page where you can map out your schedule and you can sort of fill in time slots for both dead time and dedicated study time. And I'm going to give you a link in the description to a video where I actually showed myself making a dead time planner, and I take care of both dedicated and dead time. Okay, one more thing that I really recommend that you do if you really want to stick to this new routine is create what I have called a language activity tracking sheet. So this is something that I created. It was one of the most popular things in my book, and a lot of people enjoyed the video I made about it. And essentially it's where you break down an activity into sort of a quantifiable chunks, something that you can keep track of. And what you do is you say, cool, I'm gonna study, let's say this Asimil textbook, right? And let's say it has 50 chapters. So every chapter becomes a number on this sheet, and all you do is you just track it. So as you finish chapter 1, you highlight chapter 1 in yellow. As you do chapter 2, you highlight chapter 2 in yellow. This does a number of things. I'm going to link a video where I actually show you step by step how to create a language tracking sheet. And in that video, I'll talk a lot more about why. But one thing it does is it really helps you to stay motivated because it makes it tangible. Even moments where you feel like you haven't really progressed or done a lot, you can see your tracking sheet and you can see like, no, I have actually, this is my progress. This is what I've done. It has many other benefits too, but like I said, you can discover those in the video I'll link here. Okay, so we've done phase 1, which is when. We now know when you're going to be studying, we know when you've got dead time and when you've got dedicated study time. So now phase 2, which is what. Okay, I have 3 questions for you, Amanda. What do you want to work on, right? What do you want to improve? Now, if you have tons of time and you've established, right, I got 3 hours every single day, then you're gonna have a wider range of things that you could expect to cover. If you only have 30 minutes a day, you might wanna just pick one thing. But whatever it is, you need to figure out, what do I want to work on, right? So maybe I say like, I want to improve my speaking skills, but I also want to work on my reading comprehension. Or maybe I say, I wanna really improve my listening comprehension. That's my big focus. Okay, so we have picked listening comprehension is a really big thing I want to focus on. And through that, I'm going to be increasing my vocabulary. And then by extension, I'm going to increase my speaking skills and everything else. Question number 2, what do you enjoy doing that matches this skill? So for example, if I'm going to improve my listening comprehension, well, I really enjoy listening to podcasts and I really enjoy watching movies and I really like watching like TV dramas or documentaries. I also really like music a lot. So cool, I've now identified 4 things that I really enjoy doing that also happen to map well to the skill that I want to improve, listening comprehension. Question number 3 is just basically, what resources do you have? So at this point, let's recap everything. You have figured out when you're going to be studying, both dead time and also dedicated study time. You figured out what skill you want to work on the most. So in this case, in our example, we have said listening comprehension. We've also figured out what activities we personally enjoy doing that would work well to improve that skill. And so finally, we just need resources. So in this example, just need to find a podcast that we like, find a podcast that we enjoy and that also feels like a feasible sort of resource for us to use. I also need to find a few TV dramas, maybe even a cartoon if that's going to be slightly easier for me at that level. And perhaps I also want to identify some films where I could access native subtitles. And that's it. After that, all you need to do is take this like dead time study planner that we've created. We have slots there where we say, cool, I know that every morning I take a 30-minute walk. That's an excellent time to do a podcast. I'm going to listen to a podcast episode. Then we know at lunchtime we've got 30 minutes of dedicated study time. Okay, so maybe I'm going to spend 30 minutes seeing if I can transcribe just like a few minutes of the podcast, even 1 minute. And I'm going to see how much I can understand. And I'm going to try and write down words I didn't know and also maybe some gaps that I just couldn't understand at all. Then we know in the evening I am going to be washing the dishes after dinner. So I think I'm going to listen to that episode of the podcast a second time and see if my comprehension improves. And then before bed, I have like 15 minutes. So I'm going to sort of review all the words and stuff and see how much I learned today. That's just an example. The point here is that once you have your dead time planner and you can clearly see, cool, here are all the slots throughout the week where I know I have time and I have these activities. Some of these things require dedicated study time. Some of them I can do in dead time. And all I have to do is kind of assign things. And hopefully by the end of this, you now will have a simple schedule that you can follow. You have your whole routine mapped out in front of you. You don't need to follow it every day to a science, but the point is that you now have something that removes the stress. It's not like every day you wake up and you're like, what am I gonna do today? I guess I should study Spanish. No, you will now know, like, cool, I have these slots throughout the day where I've planned to study, and I know if I just follow this, I will succeed. You have a tracking sheet, right, that we talked about, and so you're gonna be able to track your progress over time. It's gonna help you to stay motivated because you're gonna be able to sort of make this progress very tangible and you can see it at a high level anytime you want. Now, I want to leave you with a few really important principles that I think are also really helpful to mention here. Number one, I really advise you to start light. I made a video just a couple months ago about my best tip for developing a new language habit. And I think that was a really important point where essentially you're much better off just studying for 15 minutes and saying, all right, I'm going to commit to 15 minutes. Now, very often you'll end up studying more than 15 minutes, but the point is that psychologically, it's much easier to commit to just 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And once you're actually in the zone, you'll start to find that, oh, actually I'm studying for 45 minutes or 1 hour. But the point is that you remove that psychological pressure. And as long as you complete your 15 minutes, you have succeeded. And the final point I'll leave you with is that when you're establishing a new habit, which is essentially what we're trying to do by creating a learning routine, it's far more important to have consistency and frequency. So it's actually much more effective to study for 15 minutes but every single day rather than 1 hour once a week. If you do that, you're not going to really be establishing a habit. So consistency as well as the number of repetitions in a short time is far more impactful when developing a new habit. So this is again why I say, let's go through the whole process that I just outlined in this video, but let's also try to be mindful of starting small, and we can always increase that over time. We can always sort of turn that dial up, but it's most important when developing a new learning routine that it's something that's feasible, that you can stick to, that you enjoy, and that isn't gonna cause you stress. It's gonna help you to thrive. Okay, that's it. Amanda, I really hope that was helpful. I would love for you guys to let me know, was this a little bit overwhelming? Was this too much information packed into a video? Or do you like these where I sort of just outline a process at 1,000 feet view and give you a chance to dive into more depth on any one topic that you'd like? Let me know in the comments. Can't wait to hear from you. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow for an epic Wednesday. But I mean, first, let's have a great Tuesday, but tomorrow is gonna be epic as well. They're both going to be amazing.